A news source covering the entire high desert with Abbott Dutton and Mark Berryhill, Jim Dillman's weather, and Steve Gannon with local sports. This is High Desert Metro News.
We all knew it was coming. Today's ceremony at George Air Force Base is the very last one. It was a somber occasion, filled with smiles and tears and memories.
Ladies and gentlemen, the flag retired today will be kept on display at the Victorville Museum.
Lieutenant General Thomas A. Baker presided over the final ceremony.
Well, a magnificent setting for this ceremony. And although none of us were here 50 years ago when the decision was made to build George Air Force Base in this location,
only about 100 Air Force personnel remain. But after today, they too are just a memory. And when it was all over, emotions were still running high.
I'm leaving my home. Apple Valley's my home.
Where are you going to?
We're going to Altus, Oklahoma. Altus Air Force Base.
Did you prepare for this day mentally, let's say?
I thought I was, but no, I don't believe I was mentally prepared for it.
I've lived here for 32 years, and well, it was just part of us, our community, and we just had a great old time, and I'm afraid we're going to miss it terribly.
Better than me. It's difficult. It's very hard for our whole family.
Well, more than the last 2 years, I guess, we've seen sort of a speed up in things happening, and this year has been just very emotional.
Well, I was glad to see a big crowd. I know that the base has had a long-standing good relationship with the local communities, and it's a great place to be.
You know, we just made a lot of friends here, and it's hard to leave the friends behind. It's hard to leave the base. It becomes your home.
I was stationed here at George in 1960 through 63, right over there at those fuel pits was my first assignment.
The message to the high desert is thank you, and that's meant from the heart.
The closing of George is more than just the shutdown of an air base. It's the end of a military tradition in the high desert. These gates will be closed forever, but the memories and the friendships made here will last a lifetime. At George, for the last time, Abbott Dutton, High Desert Metro News.
And aircraft were flying high today. To remind us all of the accomplishments at George is the memorial, sponsored by the Air Force Association. Each of the 4 plaques have a different meaning. The first signifies the early years of George, when it was an Army aircraft flying school, on the supersonic era when the brand new jet fighters were based at George, and it also includes the many contributions during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. The third plaque is entitled The Final Years, and of course includes the contributions to Desert Storm and the closure of the base. Staff Sergeant Michael Toothman, who has been stationed at George for all 8 of his career years, says the last plaque described how the Air Force Association brought it all together just to think of the right type of goodbye for the base.
I hope that the caretakers of the base allow people to come over and see the memorial, because it tells the entire story of George from the beginning years to the supersonic area, and talks about the contributions we made in Desert Storm. This was a very important base with some very important aircraft, and for it to completely disappear without people thinking about it, it would be wrong.
Lieutenant Colonel Mel Zerner, director of Base Closure Office for 6 months, said it was difficult to watch the F-4s fly over for the last time, but the memorial will help him to reflect.
It's a remembrance of what went on here at the 35th Fighter Wing and George Air Force Base in total. It's something to remind the community that we were here, and something to let people go back and say, oh, I remember that.
An emotional time for everyone, especially for 12th Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Thomas Baker, who said it's a sad day for the community, but a day of pride for the nation. The memorial, a symbol signifying pride, optimism, and sadness, is one that will show the public the many phases and history of George Air Force Base. An era of more than 50 years has come to an end today, but the military presence will live on. At George Air Force Base, Liz Pennington, High Desert Metro News.